Hello, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith, and I want to read a review that I got that just made my day. So it says, yeah, I'm addicted. Dang girl, you are amazing. I love your vibe and your spirit. The 5-step boot camp on the quantum field hooked me. Keep going. That is from Fun Lovin' Bree. So Bree, thank you for leaving a review. It really means the world to me. And like, you have no idea how much this makes my day because as a podcaster, you just sometimes feel like you're talking out into the abyss. And it's just nice to connect with whoever's out there listening. So I really appreciate it. And it actually helps the podcast tremendously. So thank you so much, Bree. Today, I just felt this urge to record this podcast. I'm feeling more and more like my job, my purpose is to wake people up, to get people to rethink reality, rethink their life, because there's just too many people right now that are living a life that makes them miserable, that are settling for mediocre, that are stressed out, that are having mental health issues. And I think it's the way our society is set up. You know, if you've listened to the podcast for a while now, you know, I think we're purposefully conditioned throughout our schooling to create worker bees, you know, people that are compliant, that aren't going to question things and are just going to put their head down and work. And that has really become a problem. And, you know, now what I see, I saw it in the corporate world, but it's almost worse in the business world, believe it or not, like the entrepreneur world is this hustle culture where it's like glamorized, you know, how you have to work hard for it and like the whole boss babe, like I'm working 24/7 building my business. It sounds great, but it's so backwards of what we should be focusing on because as I've seen in my own life and looking at so many other people, it always ends up the same way. You end up in burnout. And this year, particularly, and I think I talked about this before, I've seen multiple entrepreneurs that I know or that I've followed that just wanted to burn their business to the ground. I mean, people literally like quitting their business or just going on a rant and kind of like losing it a little bit. And it's because we push ourselves. We push, 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 go, 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 do, because that's what we tell ourselves we have to do in order for this thing we call success. But to me, success is not a certain dollar amount or a certain title or a certain number of followers or a certain number of podcast downloads. Success is a happy, fulfilled life. Success is freedom. To me, success is like how little can I work and still enjoy life? You know, like I just want enough to cover my lifestyle, raise my family, be there for my kids. And that's how I've sort of redefined things because I got caught up in all the hustle culture. And so, what I want to talk about today is shifting our priority from this glamorous hustle and grind and nonsense of both the corporate world and the entrepreneur world and shifting that to where we start prioritizing presence, freedom, joy, and peace. Peace, like calm ourselves down. Everyone's got anxiety and stress. I'm no different. And we need to start shifting all of those things because those things manifest as, you know, physical dis-ease in the body. And it just leads to a lot of regrets in the end. And that is my point for today to hopefully get you to reprioritize things. So there's a lot of well documented themes from hospice nurses, palliative care doctors, and researchers who have studied people in their final months and days. And there are common regrets that people have at the end of life. And I know it's sort of a morbid topic, but I would rather talk about these now and course correct than wait until the end of my life to look at this. And this is one of the things that really shifted me, that got me to finally chase my dreams and stop settling for a life that I didn't love, to stop taking advice from people who didn't have a life that I would want to live. So, the first common regret of people at the end of life, guess what it is? It's that I wish I hadn't worked so much. Think about that for a second. Especially here in like the Western world, we prioritize work. When you meet someone new, what do you ask them? You say, "What do you do?" Right? Because your career becomes your identity. And we get really lost in that. And it's really hard to get out of it once you're in that because it's like, oh, I put in all these years. I worked so hard. I got the degree. I can't just walk away from that. But the truth of the matter is, we are working most of our life. I remember when I was in the 9 to 5 work day, I would be stressed out. Like Monday was hell. It was just pure hell, right? And then like Wednesday, it's hump day. Like, oh, I can kind of see the weekend. So I'm getting a little bit excited. And then Friday, you're just kind of slacking off and you're exhausted by then. And so then Saturday, like you actually enjoy the day. But then Sunday, I would spend all day dreading Monday. And that was my life. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm basically enjoying life on Saturday and the couple weeks of vacation that I get every year. And at the end of it, when you look back at your life, can you possibly imagine yourself saying, I wish I would have worked more? I wish I would have spent more time away from my family and the things that I love to do. No, no, you wouldn't. You think, I wish I was there more. I wish I would have spent more time with my loved ones. I wish I would have been more in the present moment. And so we can take this lesson that's been well documented and look at it and where we're headed in our life. Are you working? Is that your priority? And if so, how can you change that so that at the end you're not regretting it? The regret number two is I wish I stayed in touch, meaning that at the end, it's not the money or the success that you remember and that you cherish. It's the relationships in life. Relationships, not just with your family, but with friends, friendships. And they've actually done studies where they look at people who live the longest and they have good relationships, good friendships, a good community that they interact with. It's so important, and we vastly underestimate it in our society because we've created this culture where we don't have time for that. You know, when I was working Monday through Friday, like I didn't have time for hobbies, for friends. Once in a great while, we might go out for like drinks or something with friends, but for the most part, you know, you're in your own little cubicle, your own little world. And it's so easy in the busyness of life to lose touch with people, to not check in, to not keep those relationships going. I personally am terrible at that. I'm terrible at that. I am not one that's going to pick up the phone and call you, that's going to check in. I've just never been good about that, and I'm still not good about it. And it's something that I am going to be prioritizing. That was like a big wake up call for me. This is something that you need to focus on. And someday, like when my kids are grown and out of the house, and I'm not so busy, I'm going to be really lonely if I don't have friendships and people to support me and to hang out with and laugh with. So, I wish I stayed in touch is number two. Number three, regret of the dying. I wish I had the courage to live as myself. Here is what's really sad. We tend to live our life on default based on what we've been conditioned to believe we should want in life and we should do in life. This is, you know, what society tells us, your parents, your teachers, your friends, your spouse, your boss. And we get caught up in all of these external expectations that very rarely do we ask, what do I want? What do I really want? If I didn't have to worry about hurting anyone's feelings, if I knew no one's going to be mad or disappointed at me, what would I do differently? How would I live differently? And it's such a freeing question because you realize that in the end, no one else really cares all that much. Like, yeah, you might disappoint your parents or whatever, but it's short lived and they still care about you. You can't live your life for someone else's dreams that they have for you. You have to live according to your own dreams. So, what is it that you wish you were doing in your life that you're holding back on? What things are you doing that weren't even your goals and your dreams to begin with? And how can you start to go within and figure out what it is that you truly want out of this life? Number 4, I wish I had allowed myself to be happier. I wish I allowed myself to be happier because when you think about it, especially nowadays with the level of stress and rushing around from this hustle culture, I would say most of the time we're living in that. We're forward thinking, we're stressed, we're anxious, we're busy, we're rushed, but are we really happy? And happiness, it seems like this elusive thing. Like we think, well, I have to get the money and the car and the house and the job and all these things before I can be happy. But those things are not what makes you happy. They're very short lived, it's very fleeting. You're happy for a moment and then you go right back to wanting the next thing. Happiness is available to all of us all the time. It is our natural baseline. Our natural baseline feels good. We just never slow down enough to tap into it. How often are you actually in like the present moment and not distracted by what you have to do next or what you did yesterday? Very rarely. But if we can start to come into the present moment, you tune into that happiness. And when you have that happiness, that feeling first, you manifest more happiness because you're not manifesting based on what you say you want. You're manifesting based on your vibrational frequency. So for me, I am the type of person, it is so hard for me to sit still. And meditation has always been like so daunting to me for that reason. So I go outside. There is something with nature that brings you into balance and helps to clear your mind of all the mental chatter. And if I go outside, go for a walk outside, go sit outside, sometimes I just walk around in my backyard barefoot, and I ask myself, what can I see? What can I hear? What can I feel? What can I smell? And I just start engaging myself, my senses in the present moment. You wouldn't believe how quickly the stress and the anxiety subsides, and you can pull yourself into that present moment and forget about the mental chatter. And nature helps do this. It's like the ground is giving you electrons, the trees are giving you ions. There's things in nature that naturally stabilize us. And so that's been a goal of mine for a while now. And I feel like it's life changing is to just try to access that as much as possible whenever you think of it. Like, are you living in the present moment? Are you truly in the moment now? Or are you just thinking about the next thing? So let's see. I think that was it actually. Yeah. So I'm going to recap. Recap. Okay. I wish I hadn't worked so much is number 1. And that's saying a lot about our society. Number 2 was I wish I stayed in touch, meaning it's not about the money or success. It's about the relationships, the people in your life, the connections. I wish I had the courage to live as myself. They wished that they didn't live according to the expectations of others, but instead followed their heart. And last, I wish I allowed myself to be happier. Because in the end, it is realizing that you could have chosen happiness, you could have made happiness a priority, but you made success a priority instead. And so again, something that I just wanted to put out there to get you to stop, to pause, and to think, if this were the end, what would you be regretting that you didn't do? And don't hold off on that because we all do that. We all say, I'll do it later. I'll do it when the kids are grown. I'll do it when I have more money. I'll do it when I have more time. And then what happens is the days turn into months and the months turn into years and the years turn into decades. And next thing you know, your whole life has flashed before your eyes and you still didn't follow your dreams, follow your heart. So this is your wake up call to go and do that. And hopefully it makes a difference if you're out there and you're really stressed and you're really anxious right now. Just know that there is another path available. You don't have to settle for mediocre. And the reason you keep manifesting mediocre or less is because you're allowing it, because you're ignoring your intuition. So this is your call to trust that little voice, trust the nudges that you're getting. Just take it one step at a time and start doing things that will bring you more into the present moment, that'll help you connect more with that inner voice, that inner wisdom, and connect with the people around you. Prioritize love, relationships, peace, and happiness above success. And if you do that, what's crazy, and here's like the twist at the end, is that if you do that, if you prioritize those things, success will follow. There will be a way because you're manifesting more and more that makes you happy and peaceful and loved. Okay, so it's that the love and the peace and the happiness that comes first, and the success is a byproduct of that, not the other way around, like we taught and like our society has tricked you to believe. So take what you will from that. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here in the next episode.